welcome back to my channel. So today I'm sitting down and I'm doing another overhyped or worth it type video. I have not done one of these, I want to say in like 5 or 8 months. I can't remember which one. I looked it up and I cannot remember. It's been a hot second since I have done one of these, but I love these type of videos talking about products that are super hyped up. And if I think they are worth it or not for you to check out. Before we get started, don't forget to upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you want to hear about a bunch of hyped up products and my personal humble opinions on them, then let's go ahead and get started. This is my 5th video like this. I have done this on my channel. I did the first one like a couple months into my channel. So I've been doing this pretty much the whole 2 years that I've had my channel. And like I said, I love doing these types of videos. I am gonna have those other 4 videos linked down below for you in case you do wanna check out other hyped up products. I'm also going to refer you and point you in the direction of a couple other videos I have put up recently that are kind of like this. And why I want to point you in the directions of those videos is because a lot of those products I kind of wanted to mention in this video as well because they are kind of hyped up, but I didn't want to be like too repetitive. The first one is a video I did in collaboration with Sarah Rose here on YouTube. We put that up a couple weeks ago, and in that video I talked about 5 high-end products I thought are worth it and 5 high-end products that I did not think were worth it. In that video, we did kind of focus more on price tag, but I do touch on like hype in that video as well. Also, my recent drugstore makeup video, I put up a video of like drugstore products that I cannot stop wearing. And in that video, I talk about some pretty hyped up products that I personally love, like the Milani Color Fetish matte lipsticks, the Milani Anti-Gravity Highly Rated Mascara, the e.l.f. Wow Brow, a bunch of products that are super hyped up that I personally love. And then the last one I'm going to refer you to is my most recent speed reviews. I put up a speed reviews a couple weeks back at this point, giving like speedy quick reviews on a bunch of products that I have tried recently, and I tell you if they like them or not. So quite a few of those products in those other videos, like I said, I wanted to kind of mention in this video as well, but I didn't want to be too repetitive, so I will also have those linked down below for you to check out in case you missed them. Now, all of these are hyped up products, right? But I want to start off with the most hyped up product I feel like is in this group of products I'm about to talk about. Every single YouTuber I watch just raved about this lip liner all the time, says they used it all the time, and I finally was like, okay, I will buy this dang lip liner and check it out and see what all the dang hype is about. And I am talking about the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Iconic Nude. Iconic Nude. That is probably not the first time you are hearing anyone utter those words, because I'm telling you, this lip liner is so dang hyped up. Like I said, so many YouTubers I watch, and even my friends on Instagram as well, who aren't necessarily YouTubers but have like makeup Instagram pages, talked about this lip liner as well. Everyone says that it is just a beautiful nude lip liner. It goes with everything and it's just stunning. They use it all of the time. I'm here to tell you guys, I use this lip liner almost on a daily basis. I'm serious. I was trying to I was sitting here before I started filming, I was sitting here trying to think of why this lip liner is so special, because honestly, it's not my favorite formulation. It's a good formulation, it is. It's a little bit glidey of a lip liner, but it's like almost a little bit too emollient sometimes. It's not my most longest lasting lip liner that I own. And yes, the shade is a really beautiful nude sort of shade. So I was like, what makes this so special? And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's foolproof. It does not matter what makeup I have on, what lip combination I want to go in with. I do not have to think about this lip liner. It will always look good. Aside from like really bright, bold lip product choices, obviously you probably wouldn't use like a nude sort of lip liner for that, but on the daily basis, the lip products and the lip combinations that I personally tend to use mostly, and I feel like a lot of you guys will probably use mostly as well, the more nudie sort of options, it is the lip liner I have on my lips today. This is just foolproof. I do not have to think about it. If I'm in a rush for work and I'm like, oh, I only have like 30 seconds to pick a lip and I have like whatever makeup on, I can always reach for this and it will always look good. It does last quite a bit of time. It's a beautiful shade for my personal skin tone. It gives me that little bit of like a contoured sort of look on my lips, and I use this all the time. I use this all the time and I wasn't expecting to. I really wasn't. I bought this because, like I said, it's so hyped up and I was like, what is the deal about this dang Iconic Nude lip liner? And I am here to tell you, I use it all the time. Then we have some blushes that were limited edition that so many people were like loving and talking about, and I saw so many positive reviews about these blushes. And then when they went away, Everyone was like, Bare Minerals, what are you doing? Bring those blushes back. They are amazing. They are wonderful. They are beautiful. We need them to be permanent. And luckily, Bare Minerals listened and they brought back their Blonzers. So I have all 3 of the shades that they brought back. I'm pretty sure when they first launched these, again, they were limited edition. Don't quote me, but I want to say there was maybe like 5 or 6 shades, and for some reason they only brought back 3. Maybe these were like the 3 best-selling ones. I'm not entirely sure, but we have Kiss of Pink. It's a beautiful like pinky nudie sort of shade. Then we have Kiss of Rose, which is a little bit deeper, but still a beautiful like rosy sort of tone. And lastly, we have Kiss of Copper, and this is like a beautiful like orangey poppy sort of blush shade. So here's some swatches for you guys. Kiss of Pink, Kiss of Rose, Kiss of Copper. Pretty much every positive review I saw about these blushes were 1,000,000% correct. They are absolutely stunning on the cheeks. They are called a Blonzer, which is supposed to be a hybrid combination of blush and bronzer. I don't use it like that. I literally just use it as a blush, and almost all the reviews I saw, people raving about them, said the same thing. Like, no one really uses, I mean, I don't want to say no one. I'm sure there is someone out there, but for the most part, people don't really use this as a bronzer. I'm not really sure why they named it that, but you know, I'm not Bare Minerals, it's fine. And honestly, they have a little bit of sheen and glow to them, as you can see from the swatches. So it's almost like they're a combination of a blush and a highlighter. I do have a combination of Kiss of Pink and Kiss of Rose on my cheeks. I try to do the like ombre blush sort of thing that's supposed to be like really in style these days, where I kept Kiss of Pink a little bit closer to the front, and then I use Kiss of Rose back here to make it a little bit deeper. I kind of don't think it looks like ombre at all. I kind of just think it looks like one shade of rosy pinky sort of blush, but I'm not mad at it. I think it's beautiful. So because these are so hyped up and I saw so many positive reviews about them, I did go ahead and purchase Kiss of Pink in the most recent Sephora sale. And if you can see, I have been using it like nonstop. That like really pretty flowery sort of embossing is almost gone. But then I was super lucky that Bare Minerals ended up sending me all 3 shades in PR. I had no idea that was happening. I mean, I am on their PR list. I do get PR from them every now and again, but I didn't know these were coming. So they ended up sending me another Kiss of Pink that I gave to my friend Courtney, and then also the Kiss of Rose and Kiss of Copper. I have been using these nonstop. Like truly, I have been using these nonstop. They are beautiful on the skin. They do give that like little bit of sheen and glow that just gives your cheeks like life. It just makes you look healthy and glowy. Also, these last all day long. They don't really fade at all. I personally don't have any issues with my blush fading. That is typically not a problem I struggle with. So if you do struggle with that, I don't know if it would fade on you, but on me personally, they don't fade. They stay vibrant and beautiful all day long. And I'm telling you, they're beautiful. They are beautiful. And every positive review I ever saw about them are correct, and I cannot put these down. All right, let's move on to a product now that I just don't really think is worth all the hype that it seems to be getting, and that is the KVD Good Apple Concealer. This launched a couple months ago at this point. It was a follow-up to their Good Apple foundation that people lost their ever-loving minds over. I personally never ended up picking it up. It just didn't, well, I was about to say it didn't seem like something I would enjoy, but it is super full coverage apparently, and I do like full coverage foundation, so I'm not really sure why I never picked it up. I guess because I heard that it was super hyped up on TikTok, where it looks really beautiful on the skin when you first apply it, but I've heard through the grapevine that that foundation doesn't really wear that well. So I never ended up picking up the Good Apple foundation, but I couldn't escape the Good Apple concealer. I just was like, I need to try this out for myself. I don't like this very much. I will use it up, but it's not my favorite concealer, and I kind of don't really like reaching for it. I also never use it on its own, which is honestly a little bit of a bummer because I really like the doe foot applicator. It has a pretty interesting applicator where it's a little bit slanted and it's flat. It's just a little bit different of an applicator than we see most of the time on concealers, and it does just like glide on your under eyes and your face very nicely because it is more of like that flat paddle sort of shape. So packaging wise, I think it's really cute. I just like the bottle, all of that. The shades range is very wonky. I ended up picking up the shade Light 103, which is the lightest shade. A lot of times in ranges in foundation and concealers, I can get away with the lightest shade. This is literally like whiteout. That is the lightest concealer I have in my collection. When I first got it in the mail from Ulta and swatched it, I was like, oh no, what did I do? Why did I pick this shade? But online, the swatches make it seem like this would work for me, but it just doesn't. It's way too light on me. The whole shade range seems to run very light. I'm not the only person who I've heard complain about that, about the shade range. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Also, I don't think this is very full coverage. It's supposed to be a very full coverage concealer. On me personally, when I use it, I can still see the little bit of blueness peeking through. I can't use this on its own. As you can see, it's so light. It's like the shade of a piece of paper. How I've been using this is I've been mixing it in. A little spoiler alert for my project pan, I ended up finishing up the Hourglass concealer. So I rolled in my ColourPop Pretty Fresh concealer, and that concealer is too dark on its own. So I've been mixing the two together. That's what I used today on my under eyes. And that two together, the combination is nice, but you shouldn't have to combine a concealer to make it work for you. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone's gonna wanna go out and purchase and use every day 2 concealers. It's just kind of a little bit of a pain. Also, it's drying on me. Did I mention that? I can't remember if I mentioned that or not. It's super, super drying on my under eyes. When I use it on its own, again, with the ColourPop, it's fine, but it just emphasizes all the dryness under my eyes. It really, really creases on me. Every concealer does, so I'm not that upset about it. But yeah, I was really bummed. I had really high hopes about this. I was really hoping I would love it, and unfortunately, I don't like it, especially on its own. Then we have some eyeshadow palettes that are not only very, very hyped up, but also very expensive. But I'm here to tell you that in my personal experience with both of these, I love them both, and I think that both of them are absolutely stunning. And I'm talking about the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions palette, and then the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 2 palette, and this is his more like rosy sort of one. I'll start out talking about the rose one first, because that's the one that I tried first, even though it was the second one that launched. I was lucky enough to get both of these sent to me in PR. I am so in love with this eyeshadow palette. I cannot put it down. I cannot stop using it. If you can tell from some of these mattes, like the TP or the little embossing that they have, is pretty much almost gone. A couple of these shimmers up here are like already getting dents in them. I reach for this all the time. It is the palette that I have on my eyes today. I just use this into my crease, and then this one right here on the outer corner and up into the crease, and then this shimmer right here all over my lid. And the shimmers are so impactful and stunning. The mattes just blend beautifully. They do not get patchy. They blend into each other so nicely. I know this is a $68 palette. I know. That's a lot of money. Again, I was lucky enough that I received it in PR. I did not have to purchase either one. But if I would have known like how good and amazing this was, I would have purchased it anyways. Every time I reach for this, I love my look. I never struggle. I think that these shimmers are something special. I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. They're the closest things to Pat McGrath special shades that I have come across that aren't Pat McGrath special shades. They are just so reflective and shiny and juicy on the lids. Do they crease a little bit on me? Yes. I have had a couple people kind of say that, like, don't they crease on you? Like, how are you in love with this palette? They crease on me. By the end of the day, the shimmers do crease on me a tiny, tiny bit, especially right here in like the fold of my eye. However, one, it's really not that noticeable on my eyes. You'd have to be like really up close and personal with my eyes closed to really notice it. And two, it's a fold in my eye. It's literally a crease in my eye that is there all day long. And when I'm wearing these shadows for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, I'm okay with it creasing a little bit because it's a crease in my eye. Like, how is it not going to crease? You know what I mean? And then we have the first palette that was launched in this collection. I do like this palette a lot. I do think he made quite a few improvements to the second palette. So I definitely love that one more and recommend that one more if I had to choose one of them to recommend to you. It's kind of based on your preference of color story, because the other one is definitely more rosy tones. If you don't like those kind of tones, you probably wouldn't reach for it very often. This one is a little bit more of that neutrally sort of color story, which I feel like more people would like to wear on their eyes on a daily basis. This is just as beautiful. The mattes are just as blendable, pigmented. They do not get patchy on me. The shimmers up here are not as special as the shimmers in the second palette, but they are still impactful and stunning on the eyes. I've reached for this one a little bit less than the rose one. I've had the rose one longer, and also I just really love those tones on my fair skin. But I think if you like this color story and you did shell out the $68, I really don't think you'd be disappointed. I love both of these. I think they're worth the hype. I think they're worth the money. I think they're worth every positive review anyone's really ever said. Again, I would, recommend the rose one over the original one, but both are stunning, and I am so happy to have both in my collection, and I reach for both all of the time. So we're going back to a product that I just do not think is worth the hype, unfortunately. Next up, I want to talk about the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. So I did only just use this little baby size. However, there was a pretty good amount in there. If you can tell, it was pretty deep. I did use up the whole thing, as you can see. And again, it was enough product for me to fully form my thoughts. Sometimes little sample sizes just don't give you enough, but for this, I feel like it did. I like this. I want to say that I did enjoy using it while I used it. I just don't think it's anything special. There are some people out there who swear by this primer and say it's the best, most moisturizing primer. It looks stunning on their skin. Their makeup, applies and wears beautiful underneath. It's super hydrating and all of the above. And I agree with all of that, but to me, it was just a moisturizer. Like, it is a hydrating primer, so that kind of makes sense. But with other hydrating primers, I just feel like they do something extra, something special. It's worth the extra step to me to apply it. But with this one, I just felt like I was applying a moisturizer, which at that point in my routine, I have already applied a moisturizer and then a sunscreen on top of that, and then I go in with primer and foundation. So for me to just like put another moisturizer on top of moisturizer and sunscreen, it just didn't really make sense to me. This is a personal thing, I don't love the smell. It smells really like citrusy and orangey, and I just personally don't like those type of scents. It didn't seem to like linger too long, so it's not the end of the world, but just applying it, I was like, I don't really like how this smells. So overall, it's a nice primer, but for the price, because a full size of it is like $64 or something like that, you can get it on sale pretty often, but it's still a pretty pricey primer. Yeah, you may love this, and if you love this, keep on loving it. Like, I'm not trying to tell you to not love it anymore, but for me, it just wasn't that, it wasn't special. And last but not least, we have a pretty hyped up foundation, and that is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. So they recently launched this version of the foundation. The HD Skin Foundation from them, I'm pretty sure has been around for quite a while, but they have kept like changing it and reformulating it and relaunching it. I wanna say this is the third or fourth version of this. I'm not sure why they do that, but this is the only one of them that I personally have tried. I have the shade 1in00, which I feel like is a pretty good shade match for me. It is the foundation that I have on my face today. It's a little light, but I can definitely make it work. I feel like there's quite a few people out there who rave about this foundation, and quite a bit of us, I feel like, picked it up during the recent Sephora sale. I like this foundation, but it's definitely not my favorite foundation ever. The reason why it's not my favorite foundation ever is it's a little bit more of a medium coverage, which if you enjoy that, then you probably would like this foundation more than me. But if you can see, I still have quite a bit of my like acne scars peeking through. My skin is going through a moment right now where it's just weird and hot and red. I don't know why, it just happens. And you can see all of that peeking through with this foundation. And as I'm blending it into my skin, it's just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit weird. It's a foundation that I don't love upon first application, but the reason why I do really like this is it wears very nicely on the skin. So if I take the extra time to spot conceal and cover up any of my imperfections that I don't want peeking through, or if I'm just having a good skin day, this is nice to reach for because I know it'll last all day long. It's a pretty thin consistency, which I actually enjoy on this skin. It blends in pretty nicely. Again, I don't love how it looks like right off the bat, but like I said, it just wears so nicely. I did go ahead and put up a first impressions and wear test with this foundation when it launched a while ago. I had a little sample size. So I can also have that link down below. I'm gonna have like 20 videos linked down below for you to check out. In that video, you can see that when I first apply it, I'm like, okay, like cool, this is just a normal foundation. And then when I come back for my final check-in, I'm kind of blown away by how good it looks. So that's what makes me keep going back to this foundation, is the fact that it wears so nicely throughout the day. So I think if you don't mind a medium coverage foundation, and I feel like if you are dry or oily, this will work for either one. I think you would absolutely love this. If I had a little bit more coverage, I would absolutely love it, but I do think it's worth the hype because it wears so well. And that was it, you guys. That was some products that I think are overhyped or worth it. Some products that I'm like, yes, definitely worth the hype. I recommend you checking out. And a couple of them that I was like, maybe skip and save your money. I love doing these types of videos because I do love giving you guys my opinions on these products, so that way you will possibly know if you like it, or I can save you a little bit of money. Let me know down below in the comments if you have tried any of these. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on them as well. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.